attempt to document some of the work I'm doing here. Let's start with the bearings here. Of course, this is the bearing that fits right there. This other side is pretty much assembled. I do have to take it apart and finish adjusting it, but I put it together first to make sure everything was correct. And I've got most of the parts for this side done. It's just not assembled yet. So anyway, you can see this is a nut, one of these Acme nuts that I just machined to fit inside the bearing. And that goes right in there. And then this is a lock nut so that we can adjust the length between the top bearing and the bottom one to take up any slack, so we don't have any movement back and forth. This slot, I was originally going to cut it, and I decided just to mill it out. Really well. This notch right here is to put this plate in so that we can assemble it and see how that plate is. Of course, we still have to cut it off, probably right there. Then I need to put a hole in it so that we can pin it to this carriage part. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about this. These are good and strong. I ground these off to a bevel, so that's like 100% weld across there. But, and it's very, very solid. But we may decide to put another nut in there, or even two of them. I could not find a regular coupling nut in this size thread. This is a 1" 4 Acme. So anyway, we can look at that. That'll be easy enough to add if we need to. The bottom half is built similar to the top, except for this shaft here, which is keyed. And that'll hold the sprocket for the chain and the coupling. So I left these plenty long so that I don't know what's underneath your frame. So I just left these long enough that if we needed some room in here, we've got it. Of course, all these bolts that hold these bearings in, I countersunk them, put these down so that the these plastic slides will go over the top of them without any interference. This here is bolted on with four bolts on each side, and I had room here, so I went ahead and get drilled at, and also did it up here, not because I think we're going to use it, but it is there if you ever decide that that's something we need to do. This piece can go on this way, it can go on the bottom, here. A lot of flexibility there is what I'm saying, and we can move it around as needed. Probably once you figure out where you want it, you never change it again, but that option is always there. I've still got a couple of places I need to adjust for the bolts. That one I need to tap the inside, this one and this one. So wherever I could, I used the bolts that hold the slide, these plastic things in here, so that everything lines up and it all ties together well. These slots are, I put them in there so that if these slides wear out, then we can always loosen up these nuts, these bolts, and tighten this up, take the slop out of it and tighten them back up. So again, a little bit of adjustability there if we need it. These plates here, of course this will get tacked on, but this will weld solid to the bottom of the column. And then this plate is drilled and tapped, 3/4 bolt there. So what we do is mount this and then set it on your platform wherever you want to, level it up, and then just weld this right to your platform, and then you can unbolt it and work on it, move it if you need to, whatever. So what else we got going on here? Oh, these got all these T-bars. I went with, this is like regular 2-inch like trailer hitch stuff, and it's very, very solid, and I went with full 1/4-inch tubing here so that this would be tight in here, not a lot of movement. And I went with this instead of pipe so that there's no chance that it can turn. Once you set it in, get the length where you want it, you lock those down, it's in place. No movement, no twist. And then this turned out to be just the right size for the wheel, the roller. Fits right in there. I've got 2 long ones, they're 3 feet long. These short ones are 18 inches long. So we can put them in this way. You can go around the bottom, you can go across the back, you can go whichever way you want. But these here will be very easy to make different ones. If you wanted an offset or something like that, very simple to accomplish that. So anyway, I think I've covered about all of it. It's come along really well here. I've got what I do. Have it. Anyway, I need to make these areas that go on here to bolt this in. And I kind of wanted this to float just a little bit. I didn't want any chance of a side load getting onto this plate and onto that threaded rod. It'll take a lot of pressure pushing straight up and down, but not very much sideways. So I didn't want to take any chance that it would get any side load from whatever the cable is putting on this. I did put, you can say I put a backer. This is the original guide ankle down here. The light's not very, let me see if I can turn on the light. There we go. So I can see our guide plastic things here. And that's our 1/2-inch angle. Everything's bolted to it. So then I come up with these braces up into that one there. So we've got a good solid platform all the way around top to bottom. This is about 2 feet long. So we should have really good support and some angular stuff on there so that it can't tip back and forth. No matter where you've got this, it should support whatever load you put on it. I guess we'll be the first to find out, huh? Anyway, let's say this is the rest of the parts to put the second one together. And of course, we still got to do some things like chamfer these holes and a few places I got to drill and tap, but for the most part, it's getting really close here. When we get to the very top, I don't know how wide you want to set these columns apart yet, but what we can do is just take another piece of this and build some brackets just like this. We can weld one to the top, set the spacing, weld this to the bridge, whatever distance you want to set them apart, and then just bolt it together. And that'll make it simple to put together and very simple to disassemble if you ever have to work on it. So these holes I had to leave so that you can get the bearings in and out. They have to come out each end. So that's why these holes are here. Probably didn't need this one, but I put it there anyway because I think we're going to collect some material in here, dust and what have you. I have not figured out how to cover this. Had a couple ideas, but nothing firm yet, so I don't know. And maybe it doesn't need it, I don't know. But if anything does collect in there, it'll fall out the corners of the square tubing and out the bottom. I have to put something here to protect the chain, but I don't know. And then we may have to do something to tighten the chain, an adjuster or something. Again, that'll be fairly simple to do. So anyway, I think I got most of it covered. At least you know I'm getting there. So get a hold of me if you got any questions or comments, or tell me I'm off in left field. Whatever. You want to make it work here, and you want it as maintainable as possible and as flexible as possible.